Mike, thanks for coming by.
Good to meet you. Good to meet you.
It's in some aspects unfortunate to meet you under these circumstances, but your car's been popular on the internet over the past few days. You were driving it downtown San Francisco, and some people have posted some videos, and they show a partial scene of a guy running down the street and running over the top of your car. And then there's some tackling, and you show a lot of restraint in dealing with that guy. But what we don't know is we don't know what happened before then, and we don't know what happened after that. So I'd kind of like to give you the opportunity to tell us here what was going on that day and help fill in some of the details. And then what I'd like to touch on is how this ties in with some of the things that we're doing here on Isaac Fair Oaks.
Okay, well, I'm glad that you have me here, Scott. Thanks so much. I've never been on the internet. I don't even have email, so I don't have the advantage of being able to view everything. All the people that I know have been viewing this for me and getting back to me, but I want to get a message out to everybody. Hi, everybody. I'm Mike, and I've heard about what some of the videos are saying. Now, it's my understanding that there's only 3 or 4 or 5 different videos on the internet, but the police actually have 20 videos. So how this started is I was at a stoplight on Powell Street in San Francisco, 3 cars in front of me and some cars behind me, and this guy came over and walked in front of my car. I'm just sitting at a stoplight, and he kicked the left side of my car. Then he went to the right side and he kicked the right side of the car. So I, of course, put the car in park and I opened up the door, and I was going to go after this guy because I don't know what kind of damage he just caused. He just kicked my Lamborghini. So he was far away, so I came back to the car. As I came back to the car, he followed me back and he had a glass of beer. So that's initially why I was out of the car. Then he had a half a glass of beer. He came up to the car and he threw the glass of beer into the car. Then at that point, I was going to go after him again. I decided, I took some steps toward him, and he was egging me on. He was trying to get closer and closer to the car. Well, I just had, my only thought was to protect the car. And some people might not know, but this is not just a normal Lamborghini. It's called an Aventador Super Veloce. And when you've got the door up, if you're going to get back into this car and take off, you can't do it just like a normal Honda or something. You have to get in low, then you have to lower the door so that it doesn't unhinge. Then you have to release the electronic brake that's on all 4 wheels, and then you have to put the paddle shift into first gear. So it'll take roughly 12, 15, 20 seconds to do that. If I had done that, he was going to screw up the car even more, which it showed. He went to the front of the car. I'm standing there hoping that he just leaves, and he runs on top of the car. So then I took off after him, not knowing what damage he'd done, just knowing that he ran on top of the car. And, you know, then I stopped. I said, okay, I'm going to get out of here. As I stopped and came back to the car, he comes back again. Now he's going to run at the car from the back to the front now. He tried to run on the top. That's when I grabbed him and I threw him on the ground. When I got him on the ground, believe me, I was upset. But it was more than just being upset. It was like, what the heck has this world come to? I mean, people are doing this. I didn't even know this guy. I had done nothing to him. And then nobody helped me. I was out there by myself. I had to worry about whether somebody was going to take the car, and I had to worry about whether I let him up if he's going to hurt the car, which he would have. And then, because of all of this stuff that's going on in the world about, you know, African Americans and blacks and whites, I had to be concerned as to whether somebody thought that this was a black or white issue, and that they were now I was going to have to deal with a bunch of guys coming on top of me. I didn't know. I mean, I had my senses up, and I had to worry about all of this because there was absolutely, out of 700 or 800 people that were out here watching this, not one person helped me. They were all taking pictures, so I was on my own. Finally, there was one guy that came by, and he says, look, I'll get you, you know, I'll hold him down while you leave. I, at that point, didn't want to leave because I needed to assess the damage to the car, and I wanted to make sure we got the police out there, but I needed to protect the car. So I took that opportunity to go a block away. Police stopped me, then they interviewed everybody, and of course, this guy, trust me, it took everything I had in me to not unleash on this guy. I work out every day. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I'm sober 20 years now. And I wanted to unleash on him, but I just didn't. And if you ask me, what saved me from that wasn't Mike saving Mike from that. It was God that saved me. I was hot. the same time, I just knew that if I hit him, I might never stop hitting him or I might kill him. So me yelling as much as I was yelling was my way of getting that anger out of me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I wanted to deter him. You know, at that point I could see that this guy knew that he obviously had bit off more than he could chew. At least that's my opinion. And as I got in the car, then this guy decided to lay down like he was a possum. So the video shows, though, that I didn't hit him. And I'm glad that I did, because I'm not answering questions now as to why I'm under arrest for involuntary manslaughter. I didn't kill him, I didn't hit him, and I'm glad about that. Don't get me wrong. If I had the opportunity right now, and this guy they put him in the cage with me, or put him in the ring with me, my feelings, yeah, I'd like to, go 15, 20 seconds. That's it. That's all it would take. But other than that, I've learned that, well, let me just tell you how I got the car, and that'll bring us to why I didn't hit him. When I was a boy, I remember going into Long's Drugs. I was raised in Hawaii, and I remember going into Long's Drugs and stealing all these Hot Wheels and putting them in my pants. And I got arrested every time. So I had all these counts of shoplifting because I loved cars. Mom and Dad, there was a lot of abuse. Mom would burn her hands on the stove and beat us up a lot. But they threw me away. I ended up in juvenile hall. And then I went through 11 foster homes, and I went through the Salvation Army Boys Home. And then I spent 2 years in juvenile hall and, wanted my mom to come and get me. And she came to the court hearing and said, I don't want him. And so I was just left there awarded the court. And I was always in trouble. I was drinking since I was 11 years old, so I was always drinking, always loaded at a young age. Finally, I was causing so much trouble that Judge Rubin in Hawaii sentenced me to a place called Ko'olau, which is like equivalent to the California Youth Authorities. You go there till you're 18 years old. I was 14 at that time, so he was going to put me in Ko'olau for 4 years. They put me there. Habilitat is a drug and alcohol program in Hawaii, and they came and saved my life. They came to Ko'olau, got me out of Ko'olau, and I got to stay at Habilitat until I was 18 years old and learn what Habilitat had to offer. It was like my family. And for anybody that's in Hawaii or anywhere in the United States, if for some reason you have some problems with drugs or alcohol, Habilitat is just a neat, keen, ideal place. So that was my experience. They saved my life. After I left Habilitat, I ended up running away to California, where I ended up going to jail. I spent the next 6, 7, 8 years in and out of jail, and then I went to prison for 3 years. And it was an incident that happened on July 1997. I was running from the police in San Francisco, and I went out a window 3 stories, 42 feet out the window, and I woke up in San Francisco General in the operating room, and I couldn't walk. But it was over. I had no money, no clothes, I was living on the street. I was crapping in a bag. Nobody wanted me. Nobody said I was ever going to amount to anything. It was just living on the street, 42 feet out the window, and it was over. At this point, I knew that I was in big trouble, and I knew that they would probably give me a lot of time in jail or prison for that. And I laid in that hospital bed for the next several months in the lockdown unit in San Francisco General, and then in Pod C, the 7th Street Jail. And the thoughts that came to me were, what do you think now, Mike? You haven't done anything in your life. You've been hurting people. You've been stealing and lying. You can't stop drinking. You can't stay off the crack pipe. You're just laying here now. You can't even walk. What do you think about your life now, Mike? And I felt like that was like God talking to me. So I went into court when I started to learn how to walk, and the judge gave me a chance. And he says, I'm going to give you one chance, Mr. Bowen. And instead of him putting me back in prison, he put me at the Redwood Center, which was a program in Redwood City. I went there, and after about 3 days there, something happened in my life. I realized, why wasn't I dead? Why didn't I die when that guy 20 years ago shot 5 times at me and he missed? Why? All the fights and all the jails and all the abuse that mom gave to us kids and all the jails and prisons. Why wasn't I dead? And I started to realize that something else was going on here. And I could only say, well, thank you, God, because I believed it was God saying, okay, I'm going to give you a chance. I remember I got down on my bunk bed there and I said, God, whatever you want me to do, you tell me what to do and I'll do it. And that's how I've been living my life since. So I graduated, which was a big thing for me because I never thought that I could ever graduate from anything. I went to live in clean, sober living. all I could think about was paying people back for what I had done wrong my whole life. And I got a little job, and I got another job, and I was going to school, and I was saving all the money I could get so I could pay people back. And then I started going into the jails. Like, I'm in the jails on Wednesdays and Fridays. I go in and talk to the guys and try to help them to change their lives. Like tonight at 7 o'clock, I'll be in the San Bruno jail talking to the guys there, and I've been doing this for years. I go into the prisons. I go to the schools. I talk to the kids. I'm doing everything I can out here. And I'm making these amends, and I'm paying everybody back, and it's taken everything I got, and I'm okay with that. I just had all that guilt and shame that, I'd hurt people. So I'm paying everybody back, and I went to school, and I got my contractor's license, and then I started to earn a good living and get a house and 2 houses, and started doing the work there and getting larger contracts. And I thought to myself, wow, maybe I can go get a nice car. So I earned the money, and I went and I got my first Lamborghini. It was a Countach. And then I ended up selling that, and I got another one, a Diablo Roadster, and I bought some other cars, and I was able to go buy a house. But still, what was most important was the money that I make. I was glad that I was able to buy some things for me, but it was more important for me to help other people. I always look at it, the more money I can earn being a contractor, the more I'm able to help other people. And then, I thought to myself, well, I had gone into court in Fresno, and they had just expunged my records in 2015. And the expungement means they bring all your records up, and they look at them all, and they dismiss them. And then I went to San Mateo County, where I live, and I got my certificate of rehabilitation in the beginning of 2016, and then now I'm on Governor Brown's desk for my pardon. So I've taken those steps, because I'm not that guy. I have changed, and I'm doing everything I can out here to do what I can for people. I just came back from Hawaii, and I was able to go to the juvenile halls in Hawaii and talk to the kids there, and I was able to buy them athletic equipment and clothes, and they're having such a hard time in there, but all it meant was that I could get over there, let me do what I can, let me spend some money on the kids, let me do the best I can to help other people. And then, 2015, I thought, wow, maybe I could possibly go get a car like this, because it's been so much work, and you have to save, I paid them $650,000 for the car. So I went to Beverly Hills, and salesman over there, Fang, and he was really good, and I built it on the screen, and we sent it off to Lamborghini. They built it, and it took them a year to build it. They delivered it to me November of last year, and it's called an Aventador, Lamborghini Aventador Super Veloce. It's different from all the other ones. They built 600 Super Veloces, but they built one like mine, and it was like, wow, and so I'm always doing what I believe is God's work, and that's why the license plate says THNUGOD. It says, thank you, God, because, God gave it to me. So it was like, it was so important for me. It was like, I felt really good. Wow, I used to steal little cars when I was a boy. Now I'm able to go get one of these. So it meant a lot to me. It's like there's a lot of pride that I had in this. And I felt good of the way I got it because all the money was earned. And to have somebody come by and to just do what they did to it, it's not just that it hurt me what he did. It's what's going on in the world that hurts, because I care about people. I care about what's going on. It's like, they've got all these problems out here, the Black Lives Matter. Well, the Black Lives Matter thing, why the heck are we even debating that? Of course Black Lives Matter. Of course they do. Johnny Weaver, he's down in the Tenderloin right now, and I used to smoke crack with him 20 years ago. And I've done everything I can to help him get an apartment, get him a car. I've done everything. He can't stop drinking. He can't stop smoking crack. He can't stop stealing. He's probably 68 years old now, and he's probably going to die out there. He's a black guy. His name's Johnny. But Johnny's life matters no matter what. And how do I know that? Because I didn't make Johnny, God did. So who am I to debate whether somebody matters or not? What am I saying to God? God, you're wrong. You shouldn't have made Johnny. Wrong. He's a black guy. Just like this guy that did this damage to the car, running over my car, and he enjoyed it. He liked it. He liked taunting it. But still, yeah, he's a black guy. His life matters. I'm not going to stand back. As angry as I am, as mad as I am, as much as I wanted to hit this guy, something else is going on here. I can't say, God, he doesn't matter, and he doesn't matter, and he doesn't matter. That's not for me. So, hey, I want to wish the guy well. I went to court yesterday, and of course, the court system in San Francisco, the district attorney tried hard to keep this guy in custody, but the judges let him go. And I was able to make a statement to the judge, and it's just awful that there wasn't anything in place to hold this guy accountable, responsible, no deterrent that he's going to have to stay in jail. No, I remember his attorney saying, his public defender said something to the effect of, well, to the judge, Your Honor, my client doesn't have a job, he doesn't have money, and he's indigent, so, you know, we want him to be released on his own recognizance. So when the judge released him, we're sending a message to anybody, black or white, whatever, that they can do this damage to somebody, go to jail, and they get let out of jail. That's just not it. I was held responsible for everything I did. Thank you, police officers, for arresting me. Thank you, judges, for keeping me in jail. Because eventually it got to me. So July 2nd of 97 is the last night I had a drink or a drug. So a lot of my work now is to work hard. I'm on a jackhammer. I have a lot of guys that work for me. We go into buildings, we gut them, we remodel them, and I earn a living. The more I earn, again, I'm able to help other people. That's really important, and that's why I'm not the car. But I am the guy that pays his bills every day. I'm honest, I'm genuine, I'm sincere. I help people, I go into jails. I'm trying my best to help other people. I'm doing the right thing. When I'm wrong, I say I'm wrong. That's what enables me to have something like this. Because if I was to put all my eggs in one basket like car, the car was gone, then what would I be? Nothing. I am a really neat guy. I made so many mistakes before, and the kind of life I had before was like everybody said, Mike, you're no good. You're not going to amount to anything. You failed at everything. You're going to be in jail. Nobody wants to be around you. You're no good. And that's what they all told me. And then I began to realize through the course of sobriety and doing the right thing and making amends and helping other people that it's not what they said that counted. And it's not what they said that made me believe what they said, because I believed it most of my life that I was no good. What God says that counts. I've lived my life that way, so me, I want nobody to be sorry for me. Absolutely nobody. I just want the public to know that we're in trouble out here. That not everybody that we see that has a nice car is a high tech. I get a lot of insults a lot of times. People are really jealous. I've never even been on the internet. Every penny I've earned has been money that I've saved and saved and saved so that I could possibly go get something like this. And, you know, I look at this car and I say, wow, it's beautiful to design it, and it sounds great, and it's a lot of horsepower, and it's just really neat. You know, it's like, I remember years ago when I saved some money to go buy a house. And I put a large down payment on the house, and Irene came to me 10 days later and she said, Mike, the house is yours. And I was living in a hotel waiting, and I stayed in the hotel another 10 days because I was too afraid to go there because it was too good to be true. How could I possibly have a house with my background? How could I possibly? There's people out here that, you know, they've done less crimes than me and they've had less trouble than me and they're dead. Why is it I got this? So I stayed in that hotel room because I didn't believe it was too good to be true. I got a house? No way. But then I woke up one morning, I got on my knees and I said, God, you know, God gave me the spot. I said, Mike, I just got you a house. Go home. So I went there, you know, the next day. And there was no furniture, but I sat there and I spent the night on the floor and I got up and I sat on the stairs and I was just really grateful. Like, oh, thank you, God, for giving me a house. Thank you for my shoes, you give my clothes. Everything comes from God. If I ever put anything between sobriety and God, I will lose it. Nothing comes between me and God and sobriety. Nothing comes before that. Friends, family, nothing. God, sobriety, then everybody else comes. And I have to continue to live my life that way. That way I'm able to go out here. I have responsibility to the guys in jail. I have responsibility to you, to John. I have responsibility to friends. I have responsibility to people in the 12-step programs that I go to family members. I have responsibility to me that I must continue to live this life so that other people see that it does work, that they can do it. If anybody ever tells anybody out there in the public that you can't have a car like this or that you're going to amount to nothing, they are wrong. They're wrong because I'm standing here saying, hey, I remember 20 years ago sleeping on Mission Street and I had no clothes and I had to get some newspaper to cover me because that's where my life led me. The drinking and the smoking the crack and beating people up and having fights, and that's what I did. I had a fight. I grew up a fighter. Nowadays, you know, every day I work out at the gym. I'm a pretty good sized boy. I don't drink, I don't smoke, and I live my life this well, and I eat well. But I must continue to do this because that way somebody else sees, wow, he can do it, I can do it. He's done it, I can do it. It's like the other night, I got a couple packages from Olamata School in Hawaii and the juvenile halls in Hawaii where I went to speak at this last month, and kids were writing letters to me. And one of the letters says, "Dear Mike, thank you for coming and sharing your life with us and getting us athletic equipment. I felt just like you did when you were a boy, and I didn't think I was going to make it. But now, after I heard you, I think I can make it now." That's the stuff it's about. That's what it's about. It's, helping somebody else. And then another kid wrote, "Dear Mike, thank you for buying us lunch and talking to us. And today you gave me some hope." That's what it's about. I'm not about this or that. This is what I'm about, to do the best I possibly can to help the next person, so that way, somebody else can live. And that's my life. So for this to happen, it was like, wow, that there's people out here that they just hate. They're caught up in their own stuff. If this guy had come up to the car or said something, said, "Hey, can you help me?" I bet you I would have pulled my car over. I would have got his name. I probably would have got everything out of the front seat. I've done it many times before, even when I'm in one of the trucks. Put him in the car, called Father Alfred Center, took him down there, and got him into a program. That's what I do. But it's like, when they did this on top of the car, it was like not just an assault on the car, it was an assault on people, on human beings. It's like, LeBron James said it beautifully. We need to show more love. And all these people out here that are showing all this hate, that's what they're doing. They're showing hate to protest hate. They're hurting people to protest hurting people. And there's somebody who I've studied a little bit of, and I just wish I was alive, or wish I could have met him when I was a boy. And he said this. He said, "Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that." Martin Luther King Jr. So it's like, when this happened the other day, it's like, wow, people, I'm not out here to hurt anybody. You get this rage inside, but that rage inside was more like hurt, because I knew if I hit this guy that it was going to be over. But it's like, wow, everybody, is this what we've come to? Because it hurts. I care about people. I'll do everything I can to help somebody. Even when they're not helping themselves, I'll do something to help them. Because that's who I am. That's who I like being. God helps me to do that. It's not a matter of my choice. God said, "Mike, I'm going to allow you to do this. You're going to have some friends. You're now going to be honest and genuine and sincere. And I didn't get you sober, Mike, for you to sit on the back wall and do nothing with this world. You need to get out." And that's why I'm sitting here with you. Because I want the world to understand what happened here, and to know a little bit about me, so they know that I care about what goes on in this world, and I'll do everything I can. And that's it.
Well, your journey to this point is incredible, and you're so giving. You mentioned that when this happened, that no one came to your aid, and they were making an assumption, probably saying, "Oh, look, some rich guy, some rich techie here in the city, ha, that's funny, who cares?" Do you think if the people around had heard your story, that there may have been a different reaction in the street?
It probably would have. For example, with the police, I was a block away, all I could think about was, let me get the car out of here because this guy's going to do something. Or somebody else is going to do something. If you look at the videos, you see another guy go up to my car and he's going to take the car. I mean, it's like, there was none of this somebody standing up to help anybody. They didn't have to know me. This wasn't a black-white thing. It was just a guy that was hurting it. But one of the police officers, I was down the street, and a couple police officers talked to me. Then there was one of the sergeants that came up to me. Right when he came up to me, I'm standing next to the car, he goes, this is what he said. He says, "Oh, this is a rich guy. He's got a Lamborghini. We better treat him good because he's mommy's pretty little boy." I've never seen that officer in my life. And I looked at the officer and said, what do you treat me that way for? What do you say that crap for? What's this about? And I told him the story. And I said, look, I had to put the guy on the ground, and the officer looks at me and he goes, why don't you try putting me on the ground? And then I told the officer, one of his officers pulled me over and said, Mike, don't even say anything to him because he's an asshole. He's got a mouth, he's a troublemaker, and that's who he is. Just cool it, Mike, just let it go. And I did. You know, but it's like, that was the same thing. This guy should not be a cop. Doesn't make me mad at all cops. It's just, it's the thing that's going on around here. It's just, I worked my tail off for every single thing that I have in my life. Thank you, God, that I worked hard. Because when I stole before, the most money I ever had before I got sober was $5,000. And that was stolen. When you work hard and you earn it and you save it and you're helping people and you know you put sweat and blood into every single penny, and you know you're doing the right thing, and you go get something, it means something to you. When you steal money, you hurt people and you get something that way, it doesn't feel good. I've been down there, that road. It doesn't feel good at all. So there is a misconception out here. I can't speak for everybody, but I can speak for Michael, that this is who I am. However they are, I've heard stories too. I see things out here, you know. Just because I have this doesn't make me high mucka mucka, as they say in Hawaii. Doesn't make me something so special, and I'm so bad. I'm not better than anybody. You cut me, we both bleed red. You know, I want to help you to get, if you want to get a car, go get it. I want to encourage you. If there's something I can do to help you go get it, good. I'll help you. I'll share whatever I've done in my life so that you can go get something. Because that's, you know, I don't want to be the only guy that's got something like this. But it's possible to have it. Even when we come from a life, I mean, I still have the scars on my arm. When I was a boy sitting in juvenile hall and nobody wanted me, I used to cut myself and bleed, hoping that, and I used to say, God, please take my life because nobody wants me. And I still have those scars. I remember cutting myself because I didn't like Mike. And this is where I am right now. You know, it's like, I don't have to go to the jail tonight at 7. I get to go to the jail. I get to sit there and say, hey guys, how are you? And most of them know me now. You know, I didn't give that away. The other day when this happened, and I had him on the ground, I had thrown him on the ground to protect the car, and I had him, and I thought of hitting him, and I thought to myself, I'm not going to throw away everything I've earned and worked hard for because some guy is jealous. I'm not going to do it because I made that mistake so many times before. And I think a lot of us in the world have made that mistake. So I have learned. I'm very glad that that happened. I'm very glad that I didn't go any further. Because I got to live with Mike too. Trust me, I felt it. But I didn't go there. And you know what I say? Thank you, God, that I didn't go there. Thank you.
Well, it was a test for you.
Oh,
to hold back.
Jesus. You know, like I said, I was yelling because that was getting it out of me. I was, to be honest, you ever see a guy in a crowd and something happens and he's the guy who screams the loudest? Usually he's the guy who's the most afraid. I realize because I've been doing inventories and I'm in 12-step programs and I still see psychologists and I have counselors and I have friends and I have meetings I go to and I'm in and out of the jails and prisons. I see myself and I know what's going on. I know how I feel. And I knew that aside from me being angry, I was hurt. That's just a human emotion. And that's the truth. So I can deal with the hurt. But I didn't have to deal with the hurt by hurting somebody. I didn't have to send a message to him that, oh, you did this and now I'm going to beat the shit out of you because you're worth nothing. Because you know what? He is worth it. God made him. He is worth it.
Well, so that ties into my next question, which is, I know that you went to court. What would you like to see happen to this person? What do you think this person needs?
Well, when we talk about help, jail is a form of help in certain times. We have to assess this guy. Are there mental health issues? Are there this? Where's this? Whether there was prejudice or not, I don't know. Whether there was, whatever the anger is coming from, whatever, why doesn't he have a job? He doesn't have this, he doesn't have that. So obviously there's things going on with him. I am, as much as angry as I am more for, rehabilitation. Let's do something. Okay, there has to be a deterrent. He's on probation already for he had a felony vandalism that they reduced to a misdemeanor. He had a couple batteries or assaults, and he had another, if I'm correct, there was another charge. So he's been down this road, he's done it, and he hasn't done any jail time. Maybe putting him in jail 60 days, 90 days, 120 days, 6 months, whatever. Maybe that will be one of the things. But how about if we get some people talking to him?
But do you have other main pieces that you want to get out there right now?
Well, you know, one thing we need to do is as a people, we need to rise above things that happen to us. I could have thrown it away right there. And maybe some people would say I was justified or not. But when I had him on the ground, I had all these thoughts going. I was pretty concerned about what's going on around me. I was a little fearful of what's going on around me. I didn't want the car to get hurt. It's like it was part of me. I don't want somebody to just come trash something that I've worked so hard for. But even though that happened, right now I'm not answering questions as to why I'm under arrest. Because I'm not, because I didn't beat the heck out of him. I felt like it, but I didn't. And when things happen to our lives in the world, we've got to be able to have that moment where we just back up a little bit, even if it's just a few seconds or a half a minute to back up, because nothing is worth us throwing ourselves away. We do have a right to protect ourselves. And if I think somebody's going to harm me, oh, you bet I'm going to protect myself. If I'm with somebody and somebody's going to harm them, I'm going to protect them. If somebody is out here, I remember one time I saw a guy, this was a black guy, was beating up a black woman at the intersection of Van Ness Avenue in front of McDonald's. I run over there, I grab him, I throw him on the ground, I say, don't hit her. And you know what she does? She says, oh no, please don't hurt her, don't hurt him. He's my husband. I said, but he's beating the heck out of you and she's bleeding. He goes, oh no, he really doesn't mean it. It's like, how does that happen? We as a people, we need to come together. We need to look at what's below all of this, not this surface stuff. Why are we hurting? Why are we so afraid? We're so afraid they're going to take our house, the bank's going to take our house, we got to work 70 hours a week, they're going to take our car, they're going to take this, our kid has to have a cell phone, he's only 7 years old. All this fear of us getting along in this world. And a lot of it's all horseshit. If we could just stop and start looking towards each other and start doing something here. This is where the work is done with me. Over this last 5 days, I've had to do some work on me, and I've been upset, angry, and bouncing back and forth, and happy and not happy, and angry and not angry, and it's just been a little, but one thing at the core that has stayed inside of me is that I care about people, I care about their lives, I care about this world, I care about Mike, I care about my friends, I care about the kids, and I need to do something. Caring and loving somebody is good, but if we don't do anything with that, it's useless. So we must do something with it. If we say we're going to do something, then let's do it. What we say and what we do, it has to match. It has to be congruent. Otherwise, we're full of it. If I tell you I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. I have to do it because I gave you my word. I'm going to do it. That's how people trust me. That's how I get jobs as a contractor. I tell them I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do it. And if my price was too low, I got to eat it. So what? I have a responsibility to my client to perform. Do what you say you're going to do. And let's help some other people. As mad as I am, and when I go home tonight, I'll be a little mad, not a little mad. This right now, talking to you, is helping me to heal. Yelling at that guy helped me to not go further. It helps. I know what to do. I know how to stay sober. And I want to live a good life. But most importantly than living a good life, I want to be a part of helping others to have a good life too. That's what it's about. Thanks very much for having me. Thanks for listening to me. Hi, everybody out there.
Well, thank you, Mike. I mean, again, it's an incredible story, and maybe the right thing for me to say here is maybe you were the perfect person for this to happen to because of who you are and everything that you've gone through and everything that you've done. You're a person that's making a difference in the world here. And this is a fantastic opportunity for people to hear your story.
I hope so, Scott. I hope so. Thank you so much.
Okay. Well, thanks again to Mike, and thanks for tuning in. Tune in later, and you can catch more things on Eyes and Fair Oaks. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.